All right, guys. Weather Pop's joining you tonight. There's some severe weather across the Midwest. Illinois is where it's actually starting right now, and so we're going to take a peek over there to Illinois, and I'm going to start giving you a little info of what's going on. We've got a pretty interesting system that has showed up across the Midwest, and we've been predicting this for a couple of days that this was going to happen. And so the National Weather Service has issued a tornado watch for northern Illinois till I think it's 11 o'clock Eastern time tonight. It'd be 10 o'clock Central time. There could be some very large hail, up to 3 inch, like baseball size hail tonight. There's also 2 tornado warnings going on right this second at in the northern Illinois area. And let's go ahead and switch over to radar, and I can kind of give you an idea of what's going on. So as we're looking right here around the I-80 area, just north of 81, there's a really strong area of spin located right there. And as we take a look at our high velocity radar, get it to load here. So right there, as I zoom in a little closer, you guys can see, you don't have to be a meteorologist, and I am not one. I'm just a big giant weather geek. But if you look, there is an absolute really tight couplet right here. I would be shocked if there's not maybe possibly something on the ground. So let's take a look and see what the wind is, how strong that is actually looking right there. So we've got a pixel to pixel of 58 miles an hour and 18 miles an hour. So we're looking at 55, almost 56 and 18. So about 80 mile an hour pixel to pixel right there in that area right there is where that rotation is. Let's go ahead and switch over to the correlation coefficient, the CC, to see if we've got a drop yet and see if there's anything actually getting a return. And the correlation coefficient, what that means is if there is something in the air that's not meteorological small, and right now it's too muddled to see. So this would be the general area where that rotation is actually would be right here to the close to this 80 symbol. And so if there was something on the ground, it would stick out. There's just a lot of returns through here that's just false echoes, for lack of a better term. But right now we've got that rotation right here. So I'm going to kind of switch this around here for just a second. I'm going to do this on the fly, so I apologize in advance. I don't like this particular presentation because it's not picking up some of the cities and stuff that I want to see. So let's take a look and see if we can get a little bit better map system here in, and we do have that map system in. And if you look, we've just got a updated radar view, and let's go ahead and go back to the velocity here. So there is where that couplet is. It's just going to be just to the east of Atkinson, and it's actually heading toward Anawan, and I hope I'm pronouncing that correct. It looks like it just tightened up again and is even stronger than what it was just a couple of seconds ago when we were looking at it. So right over the entire country tonight, we're gonna this part of the country here in Illinois and in Indiana and Ohio along the Ohio River Valley. Primarily in Indiana, there's a 30% hatched area also, or a 10% hatched area. And this area up here in Illinois is also a little higher risk area tonight. But that is a really strong couplet. So what I'm going to tell you is this, is if you are in the area of Anawan, Mineral, Sheffield, Manlius, New Bedford, kind of in that area, Buda. Let's see what this one is over here. Waynett, Illinois, any of those names that I just mentioned, I want you to start thinking about where your safety area is. Where is your tornado safety area? And let's go ahead and do a pixel to pixel again to see whether we strengthened or not. And so we are now at 58 miles an hour and 40 miles an hour. I'm pretty confident we probably have something going on here. I've not looked to see what the warning says yet, whether that's talking about having a tornado on the ground or not. But what we're going to do is I'm going to go take a peek at that real quick while I'm talking to you. And on another device that I've got. And we're going to take a peek and see if we've actually got a radar indicated tornado or if that's actually something on the ground. Now, I will say that we've got a second tornado warning too in that same area. So just north and east of here a little bit around Paw Paw, Mendota, Amboy is in that area. Waterman, there's also a radar indicated up there. So this is now an observed tornado. So if you are in the Anawan area, this is a tornado that's on the ground. It's a tornado that's observed. You need to take shelter now. Somebody has actually seen this. And I know that people get confused about what that means. But what happens is you get, I'm kind of trying to get a couple of my settings. They kicked out on me for some reason. What you've got is people get confused between what a tornado watch is and what a tornado warning is. And so a watch is somebody, the conditions are correct for a tornado to develop or a severe thunderstorm to develop. A warning means it's getting ready to happen or is happening as we speak. So you are in that area under a tornado warning. And as we look at that advanced, little bit better radar here, and I want to see the high-vis radar is what I'm looking for the pixel-to-pixel and the rotation. So what radar does is radar doesn't see rotation as far as it doesn't see the winds, but it sees the direction that the winds are going. So you have green going in one direction, red going in another direction, and that's the rain that the radar is picking up, and it's showing that spin. The other tornado warning that is up north of there is a radar indicated tornado, and that's going to be the one that's up around Compton, Sublet, Paw Paw, in that area. I'm going to zoom out a little bit, and we're going to take a peek at that one also. And I've got to get my things set up. So right up near Paw Paw, actually, there is a pretty good indication of rotation. It's not as tight. Compton, this is going to be right on your door, just west of you. And so if you're in Compton, Illinois, or if you know anybody in Compton, Illinois, I want you to text them, call them, let them know that, hey, you have got something that looks like it's a possible tornado directly to your west. Paw Paw. And then Sublet, there's also an area, and I don't know if that's rotation as much as high winds, but there's something going on near Sublet too. But Paw Paw, Compton, a little farther out, Sandwich, Illinois. Those are areas that are going to be in line with that storm also. So take a breath here for a second, and I'm going to come back down here to this rotating storm, and we're going to take a peek at it to see if we've actually got something on the ground yet, if maybe we can tell. And like I was talking about that correlation coefficient a while ago, you know what? Boy, that's close. That's going to be hard to tell. Let me get a little closer here, because I feel like that's something that's going to be hard not to say that that's something on the ground right there. So let me take a peek here and switch back to velocity. And I'm going to put my marker there on that. Actually, what I'll do is this. I'm going to move this marker over to that area because we've got a pretty good... It's actually kind of coming down a little bit. But let's go back to that coalition coefficient, and I'll tell you... Or correlation coefficient. I said that wrong. Yeah, I don't think that's anything. Actually, I was thinking that this area right here was where that was comparing to, and it's not. They're not lining up. But to tell you about the correlation coefficient again, just so you know, what happens is when you have the meteorological stuff in the sky, so we have rain, we have moisture, everything's about the same size, the same shape, the same everything. And when you get debris picked up, whether it's parts of houses or whether it is part of trees, leaves, limbs, car tires, whatever's being sucked up in the air, if you're seeing that, then that's a different size and a shape than what is normal. So the computer and the radar read that as something is in the air that shouldn't be there. So that's what's going on with that. I'm going to kind of zoom out a little bit because we've got this one storm that I'm really concerned about. This one looks like it's tightening up a little bit. I'm going to try to get my display settings set back up to where I can get my warnings up here, and I can't. I just had it set up before I came online, and now I don't have it. Let's click off that. I apologize for the as I go, learning as I go. I apologize. That's not it. So let's go down to the next one here. Severe weather. That's where it's got to be. And I've got, that's the severe weather outlook's coming up, so I don't want that. Weather alerts. I want my tornado warning on. There we go. Got them back on. So I don't know why, but it kicked off for me. So right now this tornado warning is heading to the east. It's east of Davenport. And as I was telling you a while ago, this one is going to be a radar indicated tornado. So that one is, there's enough spin in the atmosphere that we're in right now near Chicago and out to the west of them. There's enough juice in the air that this is going to take. This could turn into a tornado. This one over here that I was talking about is an observed tornado. And let's go ahead and read what it has to say. And so the National Weather Service in the Quad Cities has issued a tornado warning for East Central Henry County and Northwest Illinois, Northwest Bureau County, and North Central Illinois at 6:02 Central Time, which would be 7:02 Eastern Time. A confirmed tornado was located over Anawan, 10 miles north of Kewanee, and moving east at 30 miles an hour. Weather spotters have confirmed this tornado, and so this is moving to the east, and it's going to be near Mineral around 7:05, which was just a few minutes ago. It's going to be near Manlius and New Bedford around 6:15 Central Time or 7:15 Eastern Time. So that is a confirmed tornado on the ground, and I'm going to see if I can pick up that CC pickup drop again or not. So yeah, I think that's a drop right there, because that is right there where that couplet is. Let's go ahead and move that right there on it to just kind of verify and check. One of these days I'll have all this thing figured out pretty good, and I'll be a little smoother at this. All right, so my velocity, we're going to pick that back up. And as you look right there, that is a strong couplet. I'm keeping an eye on that other storm that's up north and east of that just a little bit. And as I zoom out just real quick, there's really nothing else. These are the only two games in town for the most part. We've got the one storm here that is really coming close to, like I said, Manlius. It's just outside of Anawan. Sheffield's another one. New Bedford, Gwinnett, Princeton, Illinois. Those are all areas that are potentially going to be impacted by this. So as I zoom out and I kind of look around here a little bit, I'm looking for other radar, and there's really nothing on the radar popping up. I know that the HRRR, which is one of the models we use, showed some things popping up possibly in this area. And if you look down there closer to the Evansville and southern Illinois area, we've got some storms that may be starting to pop there. But let's get back up to our warnings, because that's where we really need to be. And let's use the Davenport radar to give us a view. And we're going to zoom in on these storms right here. And I will say the HRRR had this area pegged. When I looked at it earlier today, I just started a new job this week, and so I've not been able to get on and do some of the things that I wanted to do. And as I started the new job, it's kind of gotten in the way of some things, and so I've had some health issues, not personally, but in the family, and I've been spending a lot of time with my dad. We got some bad news with him the other day, and so I'm I haven't been able to get on and do a lot of forecasting and having fun with this like I normally do, and like I've been starting to do. So it's just one of those things. So right now, that tornado warning that's up here is still radar indicated. The tornado warning that's down here around the Princeton area and some of the cities we talked about was Sheffield, Manlius, Princeton, Gwinnett, New Bedford. Those are going to be impacted by this tornado warning. And we're also going to see if there's any major hail going on with us also. As of right now, golf ball sized hail is what they've got in the area that we're looking into. So this area right here is where that tornado is taking place. The area that's up in here is going to have the severe hail. It's going to have some of the heavy winds. But this little inflow notch that's right there is where the air is getting sucked in. It's starting to rotate around that, and that's where that tornado is being fed, for lack of a better term, is by that inflow. So that air's inflowing in there, and you can see right where that couplet is. It's just northeast of Sheffield, and so right there is where that confirmed tornado is at this point in time. Again, if you know somebody in the Sheffield area, Wayanett, Princeton, Walnut, some of the areas that we've talked about earlier, give them a phone call, give them a text. I know that I don't have a whole lot of folks watching this stuff right now, and that's okay. I'm glad to have anybody whatsoever looking at that. And right now I've got a black screen up. For some reason, I am not seeing what's going on. So let me see if I can jump back over here. Didn't realize that was going on. It's because I didn't lock my window. And so I've got the full screen up now. So let's see if I pop up, if it's going to, because it's not. There we go. How about we do that? And now I'm sure that's going to pop up. And I apologize. This is new equipment or new setup for me. And so it is really difficult to learn this. And I'm trying my best to learn something new. And so I'm hoping that now we've got a picture. Hey guys, how's it going? All right, so what I've got going on right now is I'm going to go ahead and switch over to the radar again. And I apologize for that faux pas that we had there for a few minutes. But we're going to transition over here to the radar. And so if you look right here, we've got a couplet that is really, really a tight area right through here. And so I'm glad I checked that. And thank you, Tammy, for sending that little note out. She could hear me, but she couldn't see anything. Tammy's been a lifelong friend. Lifelong, but she's been, our kids used to play soccer together, and anyway, we've got quite the relationship. Her brother and I were firefighters at different departments together, but we're very close. He's a good man, and I'm grateful for him in my life. But again, this is Weather Pops with you, and my name's Eric. I go by Weather Pops just for the fun of my granddaughter calls me Pop Pop, and so that's why I came up with the Weather Pops. I just thought it'd be kind of a fun name. All right, so areas that are going to be impacted directly by this storm that's a confirmed tornado on the ground. And I'm going the wrong direction with it here. Let's go back, zooming in. All right, yeah, so if we got this confirmed tornado on the ground, let's double check and make sure it's still confirmed. And it's radar indicated, so they now have lost sight of it. It could be going through what they call a recycle. And so what that means is the storms will sometimes strengthen, and then they will weaken, and then they'll strengthen, and they'll weaken again. And yeah, this is starting to broaden out a little bit. It's not as tight as it was a while ago when I was talking to you on my black screen. And so I still want the people that are in Sheffield, Gwinnett, Princeton to be on your alert, to pay attention to what's going on. This is a pretty serious situation. This tornado has been on the ground earlier, but it is currently not, according to radar. That doesn't mean it's not on the ground. It just means nobody's seeing it now. Let's go ahead and go back to the CC, the correlation coefficient. And as of right now, it's still pretty muddled. So what happens is sometimes the hail and some of the meteorological things kind of get in the way, and it's just not able to get a good clean read. There isn't, and it also could be the radar site that I'm using too. So as I zoom out, let's go to the Joliet radar, although that was the Davenport radar. Let's go ahead and go to Joliet and see if it gives me a better or worse reading. And as of right now, it doesn't look like it's giving me a better or a worse, although let's look at this. Okay, that's radar indicated. Although I am concerned about this little area right here, and I don't know whether you guys can see that or not. Let me take a peek at it a little closer. I'm going the wrong direction. One of these days I'll have this stuff figured out, and then they'll change technology and it won't be as fun again. Now, I think that's going to be more of a meteorological readout that we can get, and it's going to be something else. That's pretty close to where stuff is. But that storm up there is not as impressive as it was also earlier as far as the rotation goes. So as I look there, that looks pretty good. It does have an inflow area on it. And the storm that we've gotten down here that actually was the radar indicated tornado a while ago, it has kind of changed a little bit. And let's see if the rotation is getting better or worse. Really, it has gotten a lot different. I'm going to go back over the Davenport radar, though, because that one's closer to this storm that was more serious a while ago. And again, that rotation has really kind of broadened out. And I don't know. I know I can't say with definitiveness that there's nothing going on, but it sure seems like that has broadened out enough to where it's not actually on the ground at this point in time. It just feels that way, I suppose. But if you are still in this polygon and you are in the area of Princeton, if you are in the area of, let's take a look, north of Sheffield, north of Gwinnett, south of Walnut, let's see if there's anything else in here. Manlius, New Bedford. Those are areas that I still want you to head out and get to your tornado safe area. This area right here is where that rotation is going to be, if there is anything going on. Because we got one pixel here and one pixel here. And when you've got a green pixel and a red pixel in a lot of places, when they're right together like that, that's showing indication of rotation. That's indicative of that. So I just want you to be aware of what's going on at that point right there. I'm going to pull this one over just a little bit more to take a peek at it. And then I'm going to come out just a click, and we're going to take a peek back up here at this storm that is going to be located near Paw Paw, Mendota. In that area is Compton. Those are going to be areas. These are all in Illinois. We're just to the actual, are we north and west of, I believe, of the Chicago suburbs, it looks like. No, we're actually a little farther out than Chicago. We're still pretty far out from that. So we're getting closer to like Ottawa and Aurora, DeKalb, places like that. Rochelle years ago had a really bad tornado that went through there. It was an EF4. That was a big one, and I can't remember what year that was, but that was quite a few years ago. So as we look at these two tornado warnings right now, both of them are radar indicated. I'm still concerned about them, but they're not as significant as they were a while ago. So we're going to keep an eye on this, and I'm going to actually switch back over to this for a minute. And so as we keep an eye on that tonight, the ingredients are in place for a pretty good severe weather event tonight. And so I'm going to try to pull some of those out here in just a little bit as we go more, because I want to keep you guys posted on what's going on. And I may be on here for a while tonight. But what we got going on is that the ingredients are really in place for a pretty good severe weather event. So we've got the polar jet stream that's dipped down close to that Illinois, Indiana area. And then we've got the tropical jet stream down south that has kind of made its way up north. And so when the two of those things get together, and then you've got some spin in the atmosphere, you've got wind shear and cape, which is that energy that it takes to produce severe weather and tornadoes. We've got plenty of that. We've got plenty of the warm weather because today was over 70 degrees, I think, here in Indiana. I'm located in Indianapolis, and it was a beautiful day. I got home from my second day at my new job, and it was like out in the backyard and just really really comfortable weather. So all the pieces are in place right now. This actually looks like it's transitioning into I'm not going to say an overnight or a nocturnal event completely, but we're getting obviously closer to dark. And so we're going to have more of those nighttime storms. It looks like central Indiana. Most of our stuff probably starting around 9 o'clock maybe and moving on after that. We're going to keep an eye on what's going on, though. Chicago and out west of Chicago are still 2 tornado warnings. And again, those warnings are not indicated that they're on the ground. They are radar indicated tornadoes. So let's transition back over to there and take a peek. And we're going to see if anything has changed or not. We've actually picked up a third tornado warning. And so we've got the one that's close to DeKalb. We've got the second one that's new compared to the radar, I believe. The one we had a while ago. And that's a radar indicated tornado. And so let's zoom in on that one and see if, or let's zoom out first before we zoom in. I've done that about 4 times tonight already. This one is a broad-based spin too, and so I'm not 100% sure. Let's go back to, let's zoom out a little bit, and let's go back to that Davenport radar. That seems to be was really good for this area here. Yeah, the storm that was around Princeton, and we talked about Manlius and New. There was a couple other little towns that were right there that they're not. It's not. It's kind of broadened out a little bit, and it's not. New Bedford was another one that was kind of in that area. Manlius. Let's take a look at that a little closer. Okay, that's that new tornado near Paw Paw. Okay, so then this is going to be the one that's the new tornado warning south of DeKalb there. And so let's go ahead and find the Joliet radar because that one's closer to this storm. And yeah, we've got some red and green that are meeting together right there. Let's take a look and see if we can get a little closer to it and find out how significant that is. And I'm going to zoom in a little closer. I'm going to get almost a street level to where I can start getting some closer cities and towns and stuff that's going on with that. So right now we do have what looks to be a pretty good little spot of rotation right there. And I'm going to pull out my little handy dandy little magnifying glass. And I've got a wind gust right now at that location of 51 miles an hour and 20 miles an hour. So actually, let's go green. So I got 51 and 33, or almost 34. So we're talking about 84, 85 mile an hour's worth of spin in that area. So areas that are going to be close to that, Troxel is going to come up. Afton Center is coming up. These are all Illinois areas. I'm going to try to get some closer cities. Maybe I can get a little closer to for you when I switch my maps here. So McGurr, it's going to be just east of McGurr, Illinois. We're talking about Afton. There's a forest preserve that's right there. We're talking about Alexis Enterprises could possibly be in the pathway of this. It's going to be just south of DeKalb. We're talking about looks like State Road 23 in that area. We're talking, where's Troxel at on my map here? Troxel is directly in line. Church called Grace Fellowship. Family Farm Meats LLC. Crosby and Sons Electric. Pierce Township, which is sitting, that building for Pierce Township is sitting at the intersection of Perry Road and Salmonok Road, I believe is how you would pronounce that. Anything in that area that you guys know somebody who lives in that area, This is going to be something that they need to get to their tornado safe area. What is a tornado safety area? We're talking about an interior room in the house, a basement. We're talking about some place that you can get to where you can have no windows, that you can have four walls close around you toward the center of the house. You're going to wear hard sole shoes because you don't want to walk out if you've had a tornado hit. You don't want to walk out and have debris that you have to walk barefoot through or through flip-flops. It's not going to be pleasant. It's not going to be good for you. So wear tennis shoes, wear hard sole shoes, wear a bicycle helmet. Cover your head with your hands. Cover yourself with a mattress or throw blankets and pillows in there because most people who are injured in tornadoes, it's the flying debris that gets them. It's not that they get sucked out and thrown out someplace else, which that happens. But most people, it's going to be the flying debris. Something strikes them and hits them. Have your kids wear their bicycle helmets. Take a flashlight with you, a sound making device. So if you have a whistle, an air horn, something like that, take that to your tornado safe area. A basement's preferred because you can get underground. That's the best place to be, is underground. If you're in a car driving in the area that I described to you a while ago, which was like State Road 23, State Road 9, McGurr Road, Perry Road. Another north-south road is going to be Crego Road. If you are in that area, Afton Forest Preserve, Deer Path Nursery is another thing that's in that area. Hammett Family Farms, Midwest Co-op on looks like Illinois 7 and Crego Road. Those are going to be in that area of where this possible tornado is going to be, and I'm going to see if they've upgraded that to no, it's still radar indicated. We did have an extension of the tornado that was around the Paw Paw area, and it's radar indicated also. So that's a little bit farther back to the west and south of where this other warning is taking place. The initial warning that we were talking about earlier, that's going to be west and north of Princeton, and those are going to be the storms that when I was talking to you earlier. That's at Princeton area, and that's going to be like Walnut, Manlius, Tampico, that area. It may be a little east of some of those now too, but those are going to be some of the areas that we were talking about earlier that had some rotation. And from this viewpoint from Joliet, it's pretty mild looking there as far as the rotation goes. Let's go ahead and zoom out just a click real quick, and I'll move back out to the Davenport radar, because I think Davenport gives us a better viewpoint here of the Princeton storm. And yeah, nothing jumps out at me. I don't see anything there that's really overly concerning about the rotation yet. I would be surprised if they don't let that warning, either it just trimmed or they would let that warning expire. I don't see anything there that's jumping out. Although if you look right here, there is a little wrinkle in that storm. Let's move over to the just a regular. Now, this storm cell I think is on the dying side of things. I think you're going to see this tornado warning go away pretty quick. The other storms right here have gathered strength. This storm is starting to get a little dangly bit there, as people like to call it, or it's starting to get a little hook. It's not coming around real tight yet, and so I'm concerned that one could possibly be a tornado. I'm concerned that this area could turn into a tornado too, because we've got an inflow and we've got a notch starting there. And then the same thing is we've got a notch and inflow here just south of DeKalb, where we were talking about a while ago. And that was around the McGurr area. It's almost to Aurora. And we're talking about Big Rock, Hinckley. We're talking about the severe thunderstorm warning too that's for DeKalb County. And that is going to be, look at you real quick. So the severe thunderstorm warning for DeKalb County is going to be multiple severe thunderstorms were located along a line extending from 7 miles northwest of Paw Paw near Shabona to near Maple Park. They're moving at about 25 miles an hour. Right now, golf ball sized hail, 60-mile-an-hour winds. This is all radar indicated, so they're anticipating that these are going to take place. Areas that are going to be affected by the severe thunderstorm are going to be Aurora, Elgin, DeKalb, Bartlett, Carpentersville, St. Charles, Algonquin, West Chicago, Batavia, Huntley, Geneva, Sycamore, Compton Hills, Sandwich, Genoa, Shabbona, South Elgin, Montgomery, North Aurora. Those are some of the ones that are going to be in that particular severe thunderstorm area. Let's go ahead and flip back over to the velocity product that we have, and we're going to zoom back into the areas right here. And again, I see the rotation, and you don't have to be a meteorologist to see that red and green are together in a couple places. There's just nothing tight. So a while ago, when we were looking at the tornado warning that was taking place out to the west of here, when we were over closer to, let me see, what was that city that we were talking about? Walnut and Anawan, in that area. We had a real tight couplet there. Unfortunately, I think I had the black screen up at that point in time, and I hadn't figured that out yet. You got to give me a gulp of water because talking will take this out of you. So right now it's 7:34 in the east. I'm in Indianapolis, so we're on Eastern time, and back over in Illinois, you guys are at 6:34 roughly, 6:35, and you're on Central time. So again, nothing imminent. Looks like it's happening. We've got maybe some quick spin up type of stuff that's could take place, but nothing that's jumping out right now and says that there's something significant happening. But what I do want you to do is, even if I don't see a tornado on radar, if it's not an observed tornado on radar, what I need you to do is I need you to be in your tornado safe areas. In those tornado areas, you should have a safety plan already figured out. And areas like I told you about a while ago, Shabbona, Paw Paw, Waterman, Hinkley, Caneville is not in that yet, but you're just on the outskirts of it. Lee, those areas, Sandwich, those areas that are in that tornado warning are in the polygons. I need you to really seriously consider getting into your tornado safety areas. And those are going to be, again, interior room on your home, It's going to be a closet. It's going to be a bathroom. It's going to be a basement. It's going to be places that you're not that are not going to have windows, and you're going to try to get there now. Get your family there. Get your pets there. You're going to want hard sole shoes. You're going to want some sort of sound making device if you can do that. Helmets. You're going to want long pants, long sleeves, because if you have a tornado that hits your house and destroys stuff, you may have to crawl through something, and you don't want to tear yourself up doing that. Make sure you, again, have that helmet on board, that you have your radio turned up. If you're not listening to me on this and you're listening to somebody else, that's okay, because, well, I wouldn't know, but if you do have your local news and stuff turned up, then I want you to pay attention to what they're telling you to do too. Right now, I'm not sure. I'm wondering if Tammy's my only one watching right now. So if you know somebody over in Illinois, Tammy, then you can let them know. I'm going to share that I'm going live, by the way, with somebody else here real quick, just to let the world know that we are live, and I'm in here just jabbering away and talking about storms. Put that on Facebook real quick. Paste. And I will share that with my folks while we're doing this. You guys got to understand, I am a one-man show, so I am doing this by myself. So I'm a one-man show trying to figure this all out. I'm going to go ahead and zoom out just a little bit farther. and we're going to kind of keep an eye on things there. I'm going to ask people to share that real quick, and I'm going to let Ray know that I'm going live real fast. Just try to get the word out. I'm going to eventually have to bring somebody on, a friend of mine, somebody on, my daughter maybe, to be my, for lack of a better term, be my voice when I can't be speaking for myself on social media. She knows how to do all that social media stuff. I'm pretty bad at it, as you could probably tell. I'm going to go on Twitter, too. I got a couple people. Let's see. Yep. Let me post this on Twitter real quick. I'm not sure how to do... I got a lot to learn about this stuff. Lots and lots and lots to learn. We'll take a break for a second, although we got those 2 tornado warnings that are still up. Told you they dropped that third one. It's gone now, so I like that that's gone. I'm going to pull this one here just a little bit back. And really, that's the only game in town. There's nothing else going on, so I'm concerned about these. But these are both, I believe, radar indicated. Radar indicated, and it expires in 30. And radar indicated. So less than 3/4 inch hail in both of them. So the hail's not so bad in those, but if we look at the severe thunderstorm, we've got 1.5 inch hail in that one. So where the actual tornado or the rotations are, where that circulation is, then that area's actually got smaller hail, but out away from it, there is more serious type of a hail. So I'm running my radar here. I'm running my phone. I'm trying to text and do all the stuff. I'm not asking you to feel sorry for me. I'm just sharing with you what's going on. So right now, there's some embedded rotation in this area, and the southwest side of that storm is let's see if things tightening up. Now we still got some red and green. There's some rotation right there, and as I look up there, that area concerns me, or maybe this area right here even. But neither one of those jump out at me as being anything significant. Again, though, if you are in that polygon, if you're in that box, take this serious. I want to take 15 to 20 minutes of your time. This spot right here is looking like it's probably probably tightening up a little bit, where this one is kind of broadening out a little bit. So I think that we're going to get a tightening up of this area near Sandwich, north and west of Sandwich, and just north and east of Pawpaw. It looks like there's some pretty good wind back here, though. If that's still, let's flip back to the regular velocity portion of it. So yeah, there's still a lot of thunderstorm right here. The dark purple tops that you see are going to be more of the hail indicators. But let's just, for fun, let's go back to we just got a radar update. So let's go back to the velocity, though. And I'm going to kind of look in this area right here. I'm not overly impressed with the rotation. But let's go back here, and we have got some 80-mile-an-hour winds, just straight-line winds that are kind of right in this area. Okay, 60, 70 maybe. Hey, they dropped a little bit. I think there's a pocket right here that's a little. No, that's 50s and 60s. So we've got a pretty significant gust front that's kind of in this area right here. I hate to use the word gust front, but there's some heavy winds aloft right here. So I want you to be paying attention to that too, because a 70-mile-an-hour wind can do as much damage as a low-end tornado can. And if you know anything about tornadoes, you have multiple numbers that go with tornadoes. So you have an EF0 all the way up to an EF5. So an EF0 is around the 80-mile-per-hour winds, and those winds are just outside of that range. So I mean, they're right there close. If you know somebody in that area, make sure you give them a phone call or a text. Tell them what's going on. Feel free to share the link to this, because I want to get this out to as many people as possible. I know that I've only got a couple of folks watching right now, but hopefully as it gets closer to Indianapolis, some of my Indianapolis people will start picking up and kind of paying attention. So right now, we're kind of concentrated on northern Illinois, west of Chicago, Schaumburg, Aurora, Joliet, those areas. Those storms are going to be knocking on your door shortly. I do want to take a look at another site. I'm not going to put it up here, but I'm just going to take a look at a national radar map real quick to see what I see anywhere locally. And right now, here in central Indiana, there's not a lot. There's some rain showers up around the Fort Wayne area. South Bend's got some rain showers. There's some stuff starting to form, though, in central Illinois that's going to be just south of Effingham and just east of Effingham. So those may be some of the storms that showers and stuff that turn into storms that start coming into central and southern Indiana. I'm really concerned for later on this evening about anywhere between 11 and 12 o'clock Eastern time, that we start getting some really nasty weather and severe thunderstorms, tornadoes down around the Ohio River between like Evansville and Louisville in that area, Owensboro, Elizabethtown. You might be in that too. So just be prepared for that. So again, I see rotation, but I'm not seeing it's not super tight. So as of right now, these are just warnings to give you a heads up that there could be something happening. But I'm not convinced that anything exciting is going on, for lack of a better term. It seems to me like that it's just a precautionary thing right now. All right, give me a second here, since it's not anything that's jumping out as far as, although we got 3 tornado warnings going right now. I've got one of them is just a continuation of the other one, it looks like. So again, I'm not seeing anything. We just got a new radar update. I'm not seeing anything that jumps out at me. It just looks like, yeah, there's still radar indicated. So we did have a tornado a while ago. That was a confirmed tornado on the ground, and that was really close to a town of, what was that? Anawana, I believe, was the city name that it was really close to a while ago. Let me go back and double check that. But it actually was observed by a National Weather Service spotter, and I don't know if it did any damage or not, but there was one on the ground, and it was, Anawana. And they said that it was located over Anawana at that point in time. So if anybody knows anything about Anawana, Illinois, there's a place there called the Purple Onion. The Best Western is right there. It's right off of I-80 and 78. Anderson Enterprises is located there. And there's a road, the Grand Army of the Republic Highway, which is, looks like US 6 or State Road 6. I can't tell which. So right now, though, things are kind of calm. There is some severe weather. The storms are severe. There is 1 3/4 hail that's taking place in those severe thunderstorms. And there's some big severe thunderstorm polygons too. And there's some gusty winds out there also. Again, that wind is picked up just west of Sandwich. And so let's just take a peek again and see what that speeds are going to be in those higher. So I got 58, 60, kind of scanning through them real quick. 60s. Yeah, we had some 70s and 80s earlier, but those are 50s and 60s, so that's not too bad. Those are still severe weather. That could do roof damage, tree and limb damage. That can cause power outages when limbs go down on top of your power lines. It could cause cable outages. So make sure you got your cell phones charged up. And make sure you're in your tornado safe areas if you're inside those polygons. All right. Well, I'm going to refill my water here for a second. I will be just right over here. So if something changes, I'll come running back over here in a second. I don't know how long we're going to be on tonight because it all depends on what the severe thunderstorms and the tornado warnings and stuff do. So right now, it's not that significant. It's I think the severe thunderstorms are the biggest threat that we have going in this area right now. Yeah, we still have the tornado polygons, but I'm not seeing a lot of that rotation is just not very tight. So let's switch back to the high vis radar. And so yeah, there's really not an area of rotation that I'm overly concerned about. I guess I could argue that this could be an embedded rotation, and the same thing down in here. This could be embedded. There could be rotation here. Since we got that update, let's look at our velocity again. And again, though, I'm not seeing anything that's really overly concerning. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised that maybe that northern warning area that they may drop that off here in a little bit, because it just doesn't look that impressive to me. Now this area right here has gotten some tightened up. It's got some pretty good winds right there. Let's go ahead and pull out the old magnifying glass and let's take a peek at what we got right there. So I got some 50, 64 mile an hour winds, 60, yeah, 64 and 6. So it's not a real tight spin, but there is a spin there. We're looking at this area right here, so we just got to keep an eye on it. But if we go back to that reflective, yeah, it's not overly impressive on the radar. Let's go ahead and kind of pull out a little bit here. And that storm that we talked about a while ago that was actually creating the tornado that touched down near Anawana, that storm has almost dissipated completely. Even if we go back to the radar at Davenport, if I can get it to activate, we'll go back to that. Yeah, there's very little storm there. So we're going to go back to the Joliet here and take a peek at that. I like that radar for these two storms better. Now I've got 3 active warnings. A couple of them overlap. I'm just not overly impressed with what I'm seeing right now. Again, respect the polygon. If you're in the polygon area, then you need to be in your tornado safe area. Hey, we picked up another tornado warning just now. It's going to be directly west of Schaumburg, and I'm going to see if I can figure out what they're seeing. I know that the National Weather Service folks there in the Chicago area are watching these really, really close. And again, none of these are jumping out. Let me see if I got a better radar site that I can look at. Rockford, no, not really. That Joliet's going to be the closest one until we get closer to Chicago, probably. Yeah, the ones in Wisconsin aren't going to be any better. So this Joliet's going to be the best one we've got so far for right now. As we get closer to Chicago, there are the the radar at Midway and O'Hara in that area that we could pull up, and those are going to be really short range radar for the weather side of it. Again, I see areas of concern. I'm concerned about this area right here. If I don't know if you guys could tell that or not, I'll pull that up. Just north of Sandwich, Illinois, there is an area that I'm concerned about right here. There's a lot of wind and rotation, but it's not super tight. One side is stronger than the other side. Again, we got 60 mile an hour and 2 mile an hour. 3 mile an hour. It's not that big of a deal. Let's go back up to this other. And I'm not even going to go up here to these other ones because there's really not anything that's jumping out at me. But to say that, I'll say this. The new tornado warning that they just issued, I don't know if that is going to be a one of those that have been added on to another one, a continuation, or if that's a new one. But let's go ahead and take a look at that particular map up around Elgin. And let's read off some of the towns and cities that are going to be close to that. And I guess it's probably Elgin, isn't it? Yeah. So places that you're going to be concerned, Pingree Grove, Gilbert's. That's going to be on 20 and State Road 47. It looks like US 20 and State Road 47. 72 comes in that area a little bit. Some of the things that are going to be kind of in that range, I'm going to zoom in a little closer on that new storm, tornado warning, and let's look and see what we got right there. We've got Lily Lake is right there close to where we're talking about. See if I can find Lily Lake here real quick. Huntley is an area that we're going to be talking about. How do we do this? Lily Lake, Illinois. I found Lily Lake. There it is. And so right there close to Lily Lake, we're talking about Paynor Park. We're talking about Scotty's Vegetable and U-Pick. We're talking about houses on Burlington Road, Compton Hill. We're talking about Empire Road. We're talking about Coron Road. We're talking about historic Coron Farm, McDonald Road, Wayne Equestrian Center. If you are near any of those things that I had just mentioned, you are under that tornado warning. West Dundee, Starks, Gilbert's. Those are some of the towns and the cities in that area. We're getting close to Bowes Creek Country Club. Those are areas that I want you to, again, go to your tornado safe areas. See what, get into an interior room, center of the house. You're going to be no windows. So if you got a closet or a bathroom, like at my house, I have a circular design. And the interior portion of my house, I have a closet that goes under the staircase, and I have a bathroom that goes under that same staircase. And so those are going to be really good areas for us to get into if we have a tornado warning in our area. And if we do, then I'm going to stop the broadcast and go to my tornado safe area, just like I expect you to. There's a little area of rotation here that is going to be in near DeKalb, just southeast of DeKalb. But again, it's not jumping off the map at me and making me think that something's on the ground right now. I'm going to go ahead and click on these radar. That's these boxes. Polygons are all radar indicated polygons. So most of these are continuation because we do have radar going on with them, or we do have rotation going on with them. But there's nothing that I'm seeing that I'm overly concerned about. Again, you're inside the polygon. There's a lot of you that are inside polygons right now in Illinois. And so the newest one that was just issued north of Elgin, that is going to be Gilbert's, Pingree Grove. If you live near the Country Pet Resort, the Sushi Station, Jimmy Charhouse, I-90, Maple and Hash, Compton Hills. There's a Sam's Club that's over near the Bowes Country Club. the Wayne Equestrian Center, Thornwood. It's a housing addition that's over there. There's a Buffalo Wild Wings near there. If you're in those areas, I want you in your tornado safe area where you're going to go to get that best protection. And again, it's going to be an interior room, no windows, preferably someplace that's going to have some sort of extra protection. Basement's best. If you're out driving, you need to pull the car over, go into a site-built structure, a gas station, a convenience store, a restaurant, someplace like that that's got a solid structure. If you live in a mobile homes are great for people. They're great houses. They're great places to live. They're a good cost-effective place, especially with our economy the way it is sometimes. Good places to be. They're terrible places to be in severe weather. You need to already have that figured out where you're going to go if we have severe weather. So if you live in a mobile home or a motor home, a camper, I don't know that there's any campgrounds in this area. I'm kind of looking real quick. There's Randall Oaks Park, but I don't think that's a camping area like a state park or anything like that. But if you're going to be in those areas, the Burn Ridge, Forest Preserve, Paul Wolf area, any of those areas, you need to be in a tornado safe area. Bathrooms that are in the campgrounds, if there's a campground around. Get out of the camper, get out of the motor home, get out of the mobile home, get to some place that's safe. You got a friend or a neighbor, call them, go see if they'll let you come by and hang out at the house for a little bit. All right, now as I look at what we got going on, so the one tornado warning that's up around the Elgin area, that is not, again, it's radar indicated, and that is places that are going to be like Kane County. If you're in northern Kane County, that's what you need to be worried about. Although I will say the one that's just west of Aurora, to me, looks like it's getting a little more, little tighter. So we're talking northern Kendall County, southern Kane County. Those are where those are from. And so as we get a little closer here, let me pull that part off. And we're going to zoom in, and I'm going to see how that... So you can see where the red and the green are together right here. And so that is an area of twisting. So you've got red going one way, green going the other way, and that is rain that is being spun around. And so there is a twist here. It's not overly significant, but it's there. Okay, one of the tornado warnings just dropped off because it's out of the area now. Again, I know these are radar indicated, but I'm not overly concerned about them. My buddy Ray just tuned in, it looks like, so I'm glad to have Ray on board. Ray's a firefighter at the department I used to work at, and so he's a weather geek like me. I'm going to have to work on my getting my skills a little bit better as far as the video side of this and trying to figure out what we're going to do, because I'm watching my own feed and I see some areas I can improve upon. So I want this to be something that's entertaining, that's enjoyable, but it's also, put together pretty well. That radar signature, I've got two of them that are kind of starting to make me think. The one that is just west of Aurora, in that area, is really starting to kind of catch my eye. And then the one that's kind of north of Elgin and south of Algonquin, is maybe tightening up a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll keep an eye on it. But again, if you're in that Pentagon, get yourself into your tornado safe area. Bottom story of your house or in the basement, windowless room, could be a bathroom, could be a closet. Like I was saying, our place for our family is going to be either in the small bathroom that we have downstairs, or it's going to be in the closet that goes under the staircase. The bathroom also goes under the staircase, and but we're going to have to get 2 dogs and some people in there. Want to make sure that you're wearing your hard sole shoes, helmets for your head, Think about having some other things in there like flashlights. Thinking about having a whistle or a sound making device that if you got trapped, you could blow that so somebody would know you were there. I'm starting to become a little more concerned about this storm that's over here near Aurora and the one out near Algonquin. That's a little tighter on that couplet. Let's go ahead and pull out. I'm going to go back to just the regular reflectivity just to see if anything jumps out at me. And you know what? The Algonquin, I can see the hook. There's an inflow area. So this is getting fed by the warm, moist air. That one concerns me because it's starting to kind of develop and get that shape to it. And then the one down here by Aurora, again, there's a lot going on. There's the dark purple areas you see are hail. We've got some pretty good sized hail that's going to be west of Aurora. We're going to zoom in on that while I'm thinking about it, just see if we can pick up some of the cities that might be down there. Sandwich is in that area. Let's see what else we got going on. Looks like Sandwich is going to be there. Plano, Oswego. Can I get any closer? Let's see if there's any other towns. Franks has already been through it, so I'm hoping that that you guys are in good shape as far as that, because that's some big hail. All right, let's zoom back out. Ooh, excuse me. So I'm going to keep an eye on this. I'm going to switch back to the... I like the velocity just because I can see what's going on better this way. I'm telling you, that area right there is starting to concern me. Let's kind of pull it in, and we're going to zoom in a little bit closer to that. And that's going to be just south of Caneville. That is really starting to tighten up right there. Let's see what we got pixel to pixel. 65 miles an hour and 10. So that's only 9. So that's, let's see. So 74 miles an hour. But that's starting to tighten up there quite a bit. We need to watch that. Let me switch back over to the base velocity, or the high res velocity. Okay, I'm going to move this back kind of there. And let's see what happens if we switch back to the high vis. Okay, so right there is that high vis area that we've got that increased rotation. So let's switch it back to our regular. So yeah, okay, if you guys, I'm going to pull that off there real quick. If y'all can look, you got to kind of use your imagination, but you've got a storm here, and you can see the hook right here. You can see that twist. So I'm not surprised that if there may be something strengthening in the developmental stage of becoming a tornado right in this area. So that area, if we're looking at it, is going to be, let's see if I can find some of the cities that are going to be there. Okay, it's going to be southeast of Caneville. Sugar Grove is something. Blackberry Woods is going to be just near you. Bald Mound, Spring Green, Heaton Park, McKee Street. Let's see. St. Charles is going to be in a line of one of them here soon. There's also there's Caneville. I think the airport is already, there's an airport there that's already Aurora Municipal Airport. I think it's going to miss it. All right, so I'm going to pull back out here real quick. Yeah, the farther out you could see that hook. It's right there. There is a rotation. There's something going on right there for sure. And as I get up here next to Algonquin. I'm going to zoom back in here. Okay. Right now, the entire Chicago area is under a severe thunderstorm warning. I'm going to get these buttons figured out before the night's over, I hope. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. Let's go back to the velocity and see what's going on with the velocity here. And as I take a peek at it, yeah, the one that was around Algonquin, Carpentersville, West Dundee, Gilbert's, that is not as impressive as it was. The one that is just southeast of Caneville, in Batavia is in the line of this one. Geneva, St. Charles. Looks like it's moving up that way to me, and that is tightening up a little bit. I'm becoming a little more suspicious of that circulation than what I was earlier. Bald Mound is another one. There is, pull up some other stuff here that I can see. Let's go to Batavia is another little area that I was kind of concerned about that's on that. Let me find it here real quick. And my dog's decided to start barking, so I apologize for that ahead of time. We got neighbors outside here. It's still nice and warm here in central Indiana. It's 65. We got the doors open. So we're ahead of the bad weather. Right now, it's not gotten to us yet. Aurora, there's Aurora. That's what I'm looking for. All right, so I got Sugar Grove is right there. Bald Mound. Let's see, Nottingham Woods. It just went past you. But I've got West Main Community and Bark Park. I've got a Trader Joe's that's over off of, looks like Randall Road, a Chuck E. Cheese, a Chick-fil-A, Wilson Street. I've got Caneville Road, East Brook Country Club, Peck Farm Park. Those are areas. Northwestern Medicine and Delnor Hospital is in that area. Geneva Commons is in the area of this. I'm becoming a little more concerned about this. Let's go ahead and go to the CC version of this. And my Schnauzer decides he wants to go outside. And I'm going to put my... Boy, I'm telling you what, that almost looks like there could be something there. Okay, we do have a tornado on the ground there now. It is an observed tornado. There is a coalition, or excuse me, I'm sorry, there's a CC drop. And I'll show you what I'm talking about here in a second. As right here in the center of this, I think that's going to end up being right where that rotation is. Yeah, that's right on top. So we got a tornado on the ground north of Sugar Grove, just south of Bald Mound. So you have a tornado on the ground just south of Bald Mound. Bald Mound, if you're there, if you live in the Bald Mound area, I need you to take your tornado safe area. Get wherever it is, interior room. They've just issued another tornado warning on that and away from that. So we're talking about Batavia. We're talking about Geneva. We're talking about Northwestern Medicine, Delnor Hospital. We're talking St. Charles. If you are in those areas, you have got to get to your safe area, whether it's in your basement or whether it's in your a closet or something along that lines. That is really tightening up. We're talking about if you live near Sterling Manor Park, Adventures in Scavenger Hunting. There's a Stonehenge monument, Peck Street, Peck Road, Kesslinger Road. I'm even zooming in, the Kime Corporation, Winding Meadow Lane, McCormick Properties, Sterling Avenue, Mike the Painter. If you know Mike the Painter, where he lives, right there is where those are areas. Chapel Street Church, K. Lovett Park, Cadam Trucking. Those are things. Kane County Animal Control. Those are things that are going to be in the pathway of this particular tornado that is on the ground. It is on the ground really close to Bald Mound, which I can't find Bald Mound on this map, but I see it on that one. North Aurora is right there. That's going to be just north of it. But let me get back here a little closer and see where Batvia is. And because I'm using two different maps right now, it's just trying to figure it all out. It's moving toward the Northwestern Medicine and Delnor Hospital area. We're getting close to the Chapel Street Church. Those areas south there just a little bit. We're talking Sterling Manor Park. As I'm looking, there's some relatively new, it looks like some housing additions down through there. I'm looking at, we said Cadam Trucking. Antonio's Pizza Factory. There's Ben Facial Plastics. There is the Ugly Noodle. I've never eaten at the Ugly Noodle, but by golly, they're in the path of where this tornado is going. Let's see if that CC is still there. And it is. We still have a correlation drop. And again, a correlation coefficient drop is there is the indication of debris in the air that is not meteorological. Actually, I'm going to back that up maybe just a little bit. I don't know if I can or not. Oh well. I think that is where our debris signature still is. So it looks like it's going to go just south of the hospital. But Geneva, Batvia, you're going to be in the crosshairs for this. I'm not saying the hospital's out of it. I'm just saying it looks like it may skirt it. But if it skirts it, it's going to be like South Randall Road. And there's a railroad track there. And on 34, there's a preventative maintenance systems. There is Argenta Medical, M&K Movers, Clear Frame Engine Technologies, Ortho First Orthopedic Urgent Care. There's a couple of those. There's an eye clinic that's right there also. So be prepared. Get to your tornado safe area. I need you to get underground if you can. If you can't get underground, an interior room closest to the center of the house, first floor. Hold on, guys. Sorry, had to let the dogs out. First floor. You're going to wear a helmet. You're going to wear gloves. You're going to wear long sleeve shirt. You're going to wear hard sole shoes, things like that. So right now I'm pretty concerned about this, although that signature has kind of diminished some. Let's go back to the Velocity product. Okay, yeah, that has diminished a little bit. It's not as strong as it was, but if you look directly above that, we're getting a secondary circulation, and I'm starting to watch that one too. Those are both getting a little bit interesting. As we come out a little bit, I'm going to check out. We've dropped all of our other tornado warnings except for the one that's between Elgin and Algonquin, and the one that's here around Batvia and Geneva, St. Charles. That secondary rotation is starting to be really close over there to the hospital, over at that Delnor Hospital. Right now, it's still considered an observed tornado, 3/4 inch hail. We're going to zoom in just a click closer. If I can get my buttons figured out tonight, that would be awesome. So we got Batvia, Geneva, we've got Settlers Hill Golf Course, Pleasant Run Resort, St. Charles Country Club, Wild Rose Valley. We've got the Delnor Hospital. We've got the, looks like Inglebrook Country Club or Eaglebrook Country Club, Settlers Hill Golf Course, Prairie Landing Golf Club. Those are some of the areas that are in the path of this storm. This is a severe thunderstorm and a tornado warned thunderstorm. So I am the one that was around Batavia. This circulation is not as impressive as it was a while ago, but the one that's right by the hospital has really picked up a little bit. That is the Delnor Hospital, the Northwestern Medicine. Let's look at the CC again and see if anything's happening here. I think that's going to be just noise. I don't think that's anything right now, although that's close to where that rotation is located. Let's go back to the velocity couplet. Yeah, I think we've got I don't think it's a tornado on the ground specifically, but I think it's an area that was trying to do something. We just now got an update on it, and that to me looks like it actually weakened right after that. So there is rotation right here, right by the hospital, just east of the hospital now, just outside of Geneva, just south of St. Charles. But overall, that has kind of fallen apart. The tornadoes that we've had tonight really have been, both of them, the one that I jumped on earlier to start reporting, and then this one right here, really seem to be like quick hitting type of storms. So they've hit and then they've rotated out, pretty quick and got pulled back into the storm system itself. But the one near Geneva and Batavia right now, there is rotation there, but it's not as significant as it was a while ago. As I take a peek on a different radar app that I'm using, this is Radar Omega, by the way, and I love Radar Omega. It's such a great radar app. But as I look down in southern Indiana, Illinois, really there's nothing crazy going on. There's some storms popping around Effingham still, but they're not blowing up like the ones up in northern Illinois have. The ones in northern Illinois have got a lot of rain going on with it, a lot of heavy winds. Let's go ahead and switch back to just general velocity here. And even though they're kind of supercell type storms, they are not. They're kind of stacked on each other, and I'm not seeing a ton of rotation. Although that one, I'm telling you, it's still got a little bit of rotation there. If you're up around Rockford and that area too, be alert that there is a severe thunderstorm there that looks like it's got some pretty good hail with it. I'm going to guess 2 inches maybe. Let's see what the box tells us. 1 inch hail. Okay, I was off a little bit, but it looked like maybe 2 inch hail just by the way it was looking. So as we get back over here to this main cluster of storms, you've basically got, if you look at it, you've got a supercell here, a supercell here, a supercell here, and a supercell here. So there's 3 or 4 storms that are kind of stacked on each other, and they're moving just kind of in a line. They're not a linear type of storm right now, but they're kind of forming that. And as they get into that linear shape eventually, they're not there yet because, like I said, if you look right here, that's really a supercell by itself. If you look right here, that's really a supercell by itself. If you look right here, that's really a supercell. Same thing down here. But they're stacked on each other. So they're kind of competing for the same energy. But let's go back to the velocity look. And again, nothing's jumping out at me right here at this time. The entire Chicago region is under a severe thunderstorm warning, though. That's going to be the Bolingbrook, Naperville, Wheaton, Oak Park, Cicero, Chicago, Evanston, Des Plaines, Mount Prospect, Palatine, Schaumburg. All of those places are going to be under a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's all going to be going directly to the west. A lot of it's going to go off into Lake Michigan. It looks like the severe thunderstorm warning stops basically on the Indiana state line near Hammond and Gary. It's not crossing over there, but it's getting close. Oswego is in a severe thunderstorm warning right now. All right.
nor'easter stuff going?
Oh no, it's not too bad right now. The
Yeah.
the storms aren't too bad, Landon. But we're live on YouTube.
Are you?
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're all right. You're all right. You're not on camera, buddy. You're just hanging out with me. So, yeah. So right now that area around Batvia, Geneva, Wayne, that's the area that I'm most concerned about right now. The rest of the stuff's not looking too bad. So right now, that's the only area that really jumps out at me is kind of a rotating a notch there to rotate. So yeah, if you're in the polygons that are right there for the tornado warnings, we currently have looks like 4 tornado warnings at this time and a couple of severe thunderstorm warnings. But if you're in those polygons right now, remember, tornado safe area. What is that? What's that mean? That means you find an interior room on the first floor of your home or the basement if you have a basement. That's going to be areas like a closet under a staircase or a hallway with no windows in it. You're going to pull a bunch of blankets, pillows, things like that to cover yourself, to give yourself a protective coating per se. Because what can happen is a lot of people aren't killed when there's a tornado that comes through because they get sucked out and thrown out into a field somewhere. That can happen. But what happens usually is as the debris from the house starts collapsing and it's moving at 70, 80, 90, 150 miles an hour, whatever the case is, when that 2x4 strikes you at 150 miles an hour, if you don't have a helmet on or you don't have something protecting your body, that's going to cause a lot of damage and it's going to hurt you or kill you. That's where most of those type of incidents take place. I'm going to go back to the velocity and see if anything's changed. We just got a radar update. All right, so the area that was around Batvia has moved a little farther east. It's just northwest of Wheaton. But if we look here, we've got an increase of circulation. And I keep clicking that wrong button tonight. It's not tight yet near Streamwood and Elgin. But it's real close to Poplar Creek Forest Preserve. There's some pretty strong winds right here, and I wouldn't be surprised if this didn't tighten up a little bit and try to do something. It's just got that look to it. I don't know why. It's straight and flat, but I've just got a feeling that maybe that might tighten up. We do have that notch that's right here around Wheaton, and we just got a new update. So let's kind of take a peek at that real quick. And I'm going to kind of study it here for a second. That is an area that I'm concerned with. Let's zoom in back into this area. Okay, so where I was talking about Elgin a while ago, that's just east of Elgin, we've got an area here that's starting to pick up a little bit of a notch again. There's a little couplet right there. And it's not strong winds yet, but it's there. So just pay attention to it. Carroll Stream. I know that Carroll Stream is known for, I don't know what it is about it, but I know that you guys got a lot of credit card companies and stuff there because back when I had a lot of credit cards, they all came from Carroll Stream to pay bills. So I know that name. So areas that you need to be concerned with. Carroll Stream. Addison's down the road a little bit. Elk Grove Village is coming up. It's down the road a little bit. We're looking at places in Illinois, near Chicago, that's going to be, let me get a little closer here to Glendale Heights, Vertical Endeavors of Glendale Heights. There's a Costco that's going to be close to Hanover Park, is what it looks like. Is that Hanover Park? Yeah, it looks like Hanover Park. Mallard Lake Forest Preserve, Hawk Hollow Forest Preserve, There is a Hobby Lobby, Texas Roadhouse, and that's all going to be around the Schick Road and Gary Avenue, Cooper's Hawk Winery and Restaurant, Bloomingdale, Lifetime Fitness, Stratford Mall is in that area, close to where this rotation is. And then if we go a little farther north, where that other rotation I was concerned about and was telling you that I thought was a little suspicious, and it is radar indicated, and this is also radar indicated, that I told you was a little suspicious. That's going to be up where, let me see, pull my map up here again. Okay. Where's Palatine? I'm having trouble. Let's go ahead and zoom in one more click and see if we can get some more. So that's that Poplar Creek Forest Preserve. Where is Poplar Creek? I've got Poplar Creek Forest Preserve. I've got Inverness. I've got Sutton is going to be just, looks like it's going to go just south of Sutton. That's the other area that I'm kind of concerned about. So there's two areas right here. One just north of Carroll Stream, or near Carroll Stream, and the other one up by Streamwood. Yeah, that's starting to tighten up right there by the Poplar Creek Forest Preserve. That is really close to. I'd be more concerned. That one concerns me more than the one at Carroll Stream does right now. Okay, we just got an update, and I think the one at Carroll Stream is kind of falling apart. But I think the one near the Poplar Reserve is getting stronger. It's now going to be by St. Alexis Medical Center is going to be where it's going to be close to. Let me find that real quick. Paul Douglas Forest Preserve. We're going to be looking at, like I said, the Poplar Creek Forest Preserves, Hoffman Estates, Highland Woods Golf Course is coming up in the future as a place where there could be an issue. All right, so I am in the Streamwood area. This is going to be just north of Streamwood. Areas that I would be concerned about if I were you: Ascension St. Alexis Hospital. You're going to be in the crosshairs for this. Barrington Road Pond, Billy Doe Meats, Moriette's Hoffman Estates. Anywhere in the Hoffman Estates area, if you live by Hoffman Estates High School, you're going to be kind of in that area where it could be pretty rough on you. Douglas Preserve, Paul Douglas Preserve, the Highland Woods Golf Course. If you're near Freeman Road, we just got an update. And again, it's kind of washing out a little bit now. It's starting to kind of back down just a little bit, although we do have a pretty good couplet right there. Just know you're going to get some heavy winds through there. Let's take a peek at what that wind speeds are like on that side of the storm. So we're talking 50s, 60s, 65, 65 mile an hour winds. That's enough to do roof damage. That's enough to take tree limbs down. But you still are in that tornado warning, and so they're indicating that there's probably something that's going to be pretty significant weather event right now, and we've had one going on for quite a while. Really thought that this was the area that was going to set off first. But that area just north of Schaumburg, just south of Palatine, is the area that I'm most concerned about right now. Although we've now got a tornado warning issued all the way out to from North Chicago to Evanston. And so what that's telling me, since it's such a big zone of a tornado warning, that it basically is that they're looking for spin ups or quick hitting type of tornadoes, which has kind of been what's going on all night anyway. As I've watched the ones that have touched down, and we've got two that have touched down that we know of. And so let's zoom back in just a little bit. But this is going to go all the way out to Evanston, Skokie, Park Ridge, Elk Grove, Des Plaines, Glenview, Arlington Heights, Palatine, Highland Park, Lake Forest, Vernon Hills, Mudland, Lake Zurich. If you heard me say your name and you're somewhere in the area of Addison, Northwood Park, those are areas that are going to be in that large tornado area. You need to go ahead and go to your safe area, go to your tornado safe zone, and get in there, act like this is the real thing, protect yourself and your family. It's going to take 10 or 15 minutes of your time tonight, maybe 20 minutes to go through this, and then you can go back to doing what you're doing. But there is an area north of Schaumburg and just west of Palatine that I'm going to zoom into again and see if I can. There are some strong winds with it. South Barrington is over top of you right now. So let's go ahead and pull up here and see what type of. We're looking at 85 mile an hour winds right now over South Barrington. We're looking at 80 mile an hour winds near the Highland Woods Golf Course. We're looking at 70 mile an hour winds in that same area. So again, 70 or 80 mile an hour winds, 85 mile an hour winds can do some significant damage. It can take tree limbs down. It can take damage to your roof. It could do damage to the power grid because of things falling on limbs falling on power lines. It can break out windows. So stay away from the windows. Don't try to go outside and get you a picture. Stay inside. If you do happen to get some interesting pictures, you can send them to me on Twitter. And I'll give you that address here in a minute. So yeah, I'm concerned about. I don't know if I'm concerned about a tornado as much as I'm concerned about the heavy winds. And the thing is straight line winds can do as much damage as a tornado. So Inverness, Lake Park Estates, Baldwin, Palatine, Hidden Creek, you guys are in the pathway of this heavy winds that are coming through. Let me see what I got going on that. Try to use my phone or the computer and all this by myself. So where's Palatine? Okay, there's Palatine, and this is going to be just Palatine. So I've got things like there's a Dunkin' Donuts that's right there off of North Smith Street and US 14. It looks like McDonald's. There's a bank, a BMO Chase Bank, a Mako Body Shop, Dolce Truck Corporation, Ron Gabur Sports Fields, Hamilton Pickleball Courts. So all of those things are right there close to where this is going to be. Baldwin, you're next up, it looks like to me. Rolling Meadows is another area that's right there. I'm going to see, but I don't see a good couplet of anything. I mean, there's some heavy winds, right, like I said, right there. And this is becoming a more linear type of system. Let's go ahead and pull out a little bit, and let's look at just regular radar here for a second. So yeah, we've lost a lot of that supercell structure that we were just talking about a few minutes ago, and we're getting a lot of the more linear type of look to these storms. The thing that I want you to be concerned about and want you to think about is sometimes the farthest south end of the storm system, once it gets something like this, we could pick up a tornado on the end of that. So down around Oswego, Bolingbrook, Joliet, near the radar site, that's going to be that far south storm, and sometimes those will throw up a tornado or a pretty good area of rotation. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything. It's really becoming a linear type of an event now. I still think that those storm winds that are up there around Palatine, those are concerning to me. Let's go back over to the velocity side and make sure I'm not missing anything. No, I'm not missing anything. I think that we're still dealing with kind of a heavy wind event right now. As we look at a little wider view of it, you can see there's such a distinct line where that winds going toward the radar and winds going away from the radar are located. If we go farther back out to the west, just not to act like I'm forgetting anybody, the Rockford area, Belvoir area, Petaconia area, there's a severe thunderstorm warning out that way. And I'm going to guess that probably hail is one of the big things with it. Yeah, 60 mile an hour wind and 1 inch hail. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That area right there, I'm going to zoom back in because that's starting to concern me there around Palatine. It's a heavy pocket of wind, though. Zoom in closer. There at Baldwin, Lake Park Estates, you're right there in the middle of that. We're talking about winds 80 mile an hour, 82 mile an hour, 85 mile. There's a 90 mile an hour wind gust right there. There's a lot of 85. So there's such heavy winds right here. Near Hidden Creek, it's coming to you in just a minute. It's going to be on top of you before you know it. Buffalo Creek Forest Preserve, Buffalo Grove. It's going to be, I'm going to zoom in just one more click. Maybe we can get a little closer here. And so I am concerned about this because this type of wind can do, again, like I said, can do as much damage as a tornado can. Palatine High School is really close to that heavy winds. There's a courtyard by Marriott, a Days End by Wyndham at Arlington Heights. Buffalo Creek Forest Preserve, Buffalo Creek Reservoir. There is Buffalo Creek Golf Club. Those are all downstream. The Chicago Culinary Kitchen is right there. So there are some things that are right close to where this heavy wind, 80 to 90 mile an hour winds are possible right through here. We're going to go in just a click closer and see if there's other things that we could pick up. There's a Motel 6 at Palatine. There's Denny's, Aspen Park. Let's see. I've got Creekside Park. I've got Nickel Knoll Golf Club, or golf course is really close to that. So we're going to pull back out here. And we have got, it's just a big ball of wind right there. It's not anything but a just a windbag of wind is what's going on right there. And there's nothing indicating that we got anything on the ground. It's just a heavy bag of wind, for lack of a better term. I've heard Reed Timmer talk about having a windbag type of a storm, and that's what this has turned into. It's really impressive. Getting back up here to the speeds again, we're talking 82, 85, 90, 91, 92 miles an hour. There is some significant wind happening right now in Illinois, and that's just north of Palatine. And like we were talking about earlier, I'm going to zoom back in. We're talking Buffalo Grove Forest Preserve. My guess is there's probably going to be some trees that wind up losing limbs today in that forest preserve. Long Grove, and I'm going to say this word wrong, I know it, but I'm going to try it. Apataskic, and if I've said that wrong, somebody correct me. Aptakisic, Apataskic. Long Grove, Buffalo Grove. We're talking Buffalo Creek Brewing is right there near it. We're talking, there's a museum that's right there, and I can't read the first name of it. Sunset Foods. Oh, we're right. Okay, the Rupp Museum. We just got an update. So this area is under a lot of that wind that we were talking about. Let's go ahead and update since we got an update. 85, 89, 92. A lot of 80s, 85. So that type of wind can really do a lot of damage. I mean, that's really and truly a 90 mile an hour wind, which is what we've got in some of the areas right here, is stronger than a low end EF0 tornado. And who cares whether it's a straight line wind or it's a twisting wind from a tornado? It's going to damage stuff. There is going to be wind damage here. I guarantee there's wind damage going on right now in this area that we're talking about. Prairie View, Aptakasic. If I know I'm saying that wrong, but I'm trying a couple of different ways to say it. Lincolnshire. So there are some significant winds. I mean, that's some of the highest radar winds that I have noticed that are from a non-tornadic type of an event that I can remember seeing in a while. And we've now dropped the entire tornado warning that we were talking about earlier that was going like from Evanston all the way up to North Chicago, Gurnee, in that area. It's all dropped down to where it's just North Chicago. It's just nothing else on the map. I want to make sure I didn't have something else. Vernon Hills, Lincolnshire, Riverwood, Deerfield, Highwood, Mattawa, Mundelein, you're right, real close to it. Lake Bluff, Lake Forest. There is Northwestern Medical, Lake Forest Hospital. There's all sorts of places up there that you guys are in that tornado warning. And what's going on is we've got so much wind going on, and this wind is actually starting to spread out a little bit more. It's becoming more widespread. It was very condensed into an area, but it's becoming more of a really far-reaching type of issue. So you've got out on the like Lincolnshire right now, you've got 30 and 40 mile an hour winds headed towards you. But if you just go a couple of miles, it jumps up to 80, 90. 90 mile an hour winds just to your west. The same thing, just south of Vernon Hills. Vernon Hills, you're getting winds in the 30 to 50 mile an hour range, but you just go a couple blocks and it's 80 to 90 mile an hour. Long Grove is in the middle of it right now. Buffalo Grove looks like it just went north of you. Mattawa, you're probably going to be in the outskirts of it. The looks like. Okay, there's Lake Forest. I'm going to come back to Vernon Hills. I just saw Vernon Hills. There we go. So areas, State Road 21, it looks like is going to be there. There's a lot of forest preserves. Captain Daniel Wright Forest Preserves, MacArthur Forest Preserve. There's a wholesale, Costco wholesale that's going to be at I-94 and State Road 60 on Town Line Road. You guys are going to be all in the middle of that here very shortly. It's just to your west. Let me zoom in if I can go one more click in. Yep, Lincolnshire. There's Lincolnshire, Marriott. Here's Lincolnshire. Bannockburn. That's another Deerfield. Del Mar. Let's go back here. Just Del Mar Woods. Prairie Wolf Forest Preserve. A lot of forest preserves. Conway Farms. Let's kind of look around and see what we got. Winds again. We got another update. 93 mile an hour. 94 mile an hour. 90. There's some significant winds right now. Woodland Chase, you're getting winds. Lincoln Marriott, you're getting ready to get hit. Windows, get away from your windows. Step far back away from windows. Do not get underneath them or in front of them because it can blow these out. You know, these are 90 mile an hour winds, 90 plus mile an hour winds in some areas. This is going to impact your house. It's going to impact your windows. It's going to impact your roof, trees. If you've got anything in the backyard, trampolines, trash cans, they're going to go blowing around if you're not taking care of them. So West Lake Forest is coming up. Conway Farms, Granger Woods Conservative Area, Kennedy, West Lee Farms. So there's a lot of heavy winds coming your way right now. I'm not so much worried about a tornado anymore as much as I am the just the straight line winds. Sorry, I'm trying to do a couple of different things since it's just me. Now it looks like all of a sudden this is just kind of stand by for just a second. I'm going to go ahead and go back to the velocity to make sure I'm not missing anything. And this is still radar indicated. Yeah, still radar indicated. All right, so I was distracted there for a second. Got a lot of things going on. I belong to a group called the XCC. It's a men's group. It's a faith-based group that is we go out in the woods and we do these hikes and we do manly things when we're out there. And so they they've got an event coming up, and I just can't get away because of my dad's health issues. And so I love, these are my people. I mean, this event is such a life-changing event for people who have never done this. And if if you're into if you go to church, you kind of got a faith-based type of a person, this is a great fit. If you want to do something that challenges you spiritually and mentally, emotionally, and all that, this is the thing to do. It's an amazing event. And I would recommend it to anybody. Reach out to me on this page on the YouTube and ask me a question about it. I'm glad to answer it. But it's the website is 4mus.org, I believe, is what it is now. So it's 4mus.org. Yep, 4mus.org. And look for an XCC. They have them all over the country, and they're amazing. And I would, matter of fact, if somebody wanted to put a team together, I would even consider hiking one again. If we got a Weather Pops team together and wanted to go do this. So let's get back up here to the severe weather. The winds are really kind of dying down a little bit. They're still hard at 80 miles an hour, 82, 85. But it's kind of weakening a little bit compared to what it was a while ago. So looks like that area where that tornado warning is from North Chicago down to, I think it's Lake Bluff. And let me take a peek. Let me go a little closer here. Highwood, Highland Park, that area where that tornado warning from Libertyville, Lincolnshire, Riverwood. Right now, I think this is just going to be a lot of wind event. So that's not downplaying at all. It's just what it is. Still got a severe thunderstorm warning out by Rockford. Let's go ahead and switch back over to velocity or reflectivity here. And yeah, this has turned into more of a linear event. The supercells have kind of all merged. I wouldn't completely take my eye off of the Joliet area with what's going on right now. But this is just round one of what's going to happen tonight. This could be a late night. I'm not going to say an all-night event, but it could be a pretty significant night of event. Now, the bad news is I have to work tomorrow about 60 miles south of here. So I am not going to get to stay up late and do a lot of extra stuff like I would like to. Let me switch over to my national radar here real quick on my phone. That way I can see if there's anything happening out in Illinois yet. No, nothing really. Nothing really at all. So right now this is the main event right here. Shouldn't be anybody, I guess, out on the Lake Michigan tonight, but I guess there could be. Let's go ahead and pull in a little closer to get rid of that. I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, that tornado warning that's up there, that they're going to probably drop that. They could drop it and just make it a severe thunderstorm warning with a tornado potential in it. But what I'm going to say is they'll probably keep it up. Actually, they just cut it down a little bit more even. Because of that heavy wind that's up there, they're not going to drop it yet. I don't think we're going to get a tornado out of it at this point in time. I think it's all just going to be wind-driven and a lot of severe type of wind damage that'll be from straight line style winds, which, again, like I said earlier, a straight line wind damage or tornado damage, you don't care. As long as, you just getting damage, it doesn't matter. So how it happens. I know last year we had a lot of, we had some wind damage this time of year. It was actually January of 2023. We had a really good windstorm come through the Indianapolis area and did some damage to the house. And so we wound up having a roof and siding and stuff replaced because of it. But it's not fun, and it didn't matter. It wasn't a tornado. What mattered was it damaged the house and it needed to be fixed. So, on a side note, which this is free, I'm not got a sponsor of any sort to tell you something different. just make sure that if you are having to put in a insurance claim, don't just go with what the insurance company tells you. Get yourself a reputable repair service. Have them come and fight and battle for you. That's what they get paid for. And then do that with them. So we use the company here in Indy. Our guy showed up. When the insurance guy showed up, he pointed out what he wanted to point out. My insurance company actually came back and said, we're just going to replace your siding with white siding, and we're going to paint it to match your house. Well, a lot of people are going to take that because it's a cheap fix. Just keep in mind, if you live in a homeowners association area, you may not be allowed to do that. They may refuse to allow you to have painted siding in your addition. So make sure you know what your rights are. Make sure you know what the rules are. Make sure that you are being represented by a somebody who's reputable, not just some guy that knocks on your door and says, hey, we're in the area to fix roofs and stuff. Make sure there's somebody that's local and not from out of town someplace else, and you're using somebody reputable. Because I don't want to see you guys pay your insurance rate to somebody that you're paying insurance, and they give you a check to get your house fixed, and you give them part of the check, and then they disappear. That happens every day. So use somebody who's been here a while. Use somebody who has been in your area a while, not just the Joe Blow roofing company that just started last week because the storms came through. Our guy fought for us and did a lot of good work for us, and we were grateful for him. And we wound up getting quite a bit of things repaired on the house, and it's in better shape than it was last year at this time. So just pay attention to what your provider will do for you. Get that reputable person, and they'll take care of you. I hope. At least they do here in Indiana. I don't know how it is in Illinois because most of the damage is in Illinois right now. Pull this down a little bit. Let's look and see what we're doing. We just got a radar update again. And let's go to, not that one. That's not the one I want. I want that one. And so that area of heavy wind is getting ready. It's actually almost completely gone. And it's around Evanston right now and almost out into Lake Michigan at this point in time. Just for kicks and giggles, since it's kind of slowing down here a little bit. And I just didn't do very well with that click and mouse area. Oh, wait, I lied. The one up around North Chicago is where that, it's getting ready to go off into Lake Michigan too. So we dropped down into the 60s and 70s, a little bit of 80s right there. Still severe. A lot of damage can be done with this. But there's really nothing in here that's indicating to me that there's a tornado. And it's still radar indicated. And I think they're just doing it because the winds are so high that they're treating it as a tornado even though it's not. They're treating it as a tornado because, again, the amount of wind that's blowing right there right now is very close to what a low-end tornado would be. So having a tornado warning in an area that's got 90-mile-an-hour winds or 85-mile-an-hour winds completely makes sense. There's 82. I think a low-end EF0 starts at 80 miles an hour, if I remember that correctly. So an EF0, which is the lowest end tornado that you could have, is usually about, this is in kilometers, so that's not me. An EF0 tornado, which was just, they decided to do that. Let's see here. 65 to 85 mile an hour winds is an EF0 tornado. So an EF0 tornado is 65 to 85. So that's equivalent to an EF0 tornado. And actually, 86 to 110 is an EF1. So some of these winds, well, right, actually, did I just see 90 or is that just 80? That was 80. So 82 mile an hour winds. These are all very close to an EF1 tornado strength-wise. A while ago, we had that 90 mile an hour winds, and those 90 mile an hour winds, and that's actually an EF1 tornado strength-wise. Now, again, it doesn't matter whether a 90 mile an hour wind hits you or an 80-mile-an-hour wind hits you, whether it's a tornado or whether it's a straight line wind, it's still going to cause damage. It's still going to cause issues. So that portion of that storm up there is getting ready to go off into Lake Michigan. I'm going to just double check it real quick and see if it's still just a radar indicated, which I'm 99% sure it is, and it is. So there's no confirmation of anything on the ground. That's the good news about that. The bad news is there's still a lot of heavy winds with it right now, and it is. I'm guaranteeing it's causing damage. It's caused tree damage. It's caused roof damage. It's caused power outages probably at some point. But other than that, it's it's not a tornado on the ground, which is a positive thing in itself. I have a friend of mine who's watching the stream. He's a firefighter up in the Noblesville area. And so shout out to those guys. And I'm guessing he's probably out at Station 7, if my guess is right, because I think that's where he's been working out of. And he and I worked across from each other. And he's a giant weather geek, too. So shout out to those guys. They just got back from a run and have been watching what's going on. And so that's... I miss those guys. I miss getting to do what I used to do. And but, I needed to make a change and some things needed to happen different, and so it did. And I'm getting ready to start I just started this week a new position with Lifeline at IU, and I won't be doing helicopter-based stuff yet, but hopefully in the next 6 months they have informed me that I can start getting some classes and some things to get me ready to get on board a helicopter. So that would be really super cool to get to do. Fact, man. Total fact. I just got a text. Somebody told me something, and I agree with him. Completely agree with him. So it looks like this part of the exciting evening that we've had so far with a couple of confirmed tornadoes that were on the ground. Anawana was one of the places, and the other one was near Bald Hill, I believe. There was a confirmed tornado on the ground in that area. But those were, I believe, probably pretty quick hits. Let's take a peek back at the National Weather Service here real quick and see what they say. So I've got storm reports here. And as of right now, some of the storm reports that we've had today so far, actually there's 4 reports of tornadoes tonight. I'm guessing some of them are probably the same one because they're really close to each other. But you've got a... Henry County, Illinois, there's no information on. But the one that was near DeKalb was a train spotter reports a tornado on the ground 2 miles northeast of Waterman. There was a photo taken of a tornado near Hinckley. There was reports of damages to trees, power poles, fences at the Wabanisi Community College associated with the tornado. And then the other one was... a possible tornado just north of Schaumburg, Illinois, and that was just here a little bit ago. So we've had 3 actually near. One was near Atkinson, and then the other 3 were DeKalb and County, Cook and Kane counties. So we've had 4 possible tornadoes tonight. And that tornado warning is still radar indicated. So I'm going to pull back up my other national map to see if there's any radar, because one of the things that I love about the Radar Omega app, which is it's either free or it's a really low charge to get the entry level version of it. You can see a lot of things. It's really kind of a cool setup, but I've not figured out how to do the national map on it yet. And so I've got a little work to do on that. But as I look across the areas that we're concerned about tonight, so we're really concerned about the area around Chicago, and this was the storm system that we were talking about earlier. And then there's going to be another wave of storms that's going to come through down potentially through south central Indiana. We're talking like Bloomington, Bedford, down toward Evansville, down around New Albany and those areas. Along the Ohio River, there's another hatched area. And what a hatched area means, and I'm going to try to pull that up here in a little bit to transition into that. Once this tornado warning gets out of here, I'll start making some changes and kind of pull up some other maps, and we'll talk about a few more things. That actually looks like we could be picking up a little more rotation there. So let's go back to the velocity here, because I got to talking and it changed a little. Now most of the storm is off the coast of the Chicago, Waukegan area and getting out into Lake Michigan. So most of that is going to be gone. I don't think that we're going to get any quick spin-ups. Matter of fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't drop that tornado warning here any second, because everything's basically offshore now. But once I can pull this back up, and actually I'm going to go ahead and go there, because they're going to drop this any time now. I got a feeling. Let's go back to that radar view real quick. And you know, there is a twist here, but it's not I wouldn't say it's a traditional, although that could be considered just the shape and the direction of it. It could be considered a supercell, I suppose. As I look, I'm not seeing anything though that we've got a really tight spin or anything. And just as soon as this, the rest of this wind jumps offshore here, I think we're going to see some things drop. But when we do, I'm going to take a peek and see. And actually, they just dropped that tornado warning. So yeah, that's kind of what I thought they were going to do. And so that makes a lot of sense to me. But yeah, most of that storm is going to be the worst of it's offshore now. There's still some areas around Cicero and down south here near Joliet that we still got some storm going on. The area around Gary and Portage just picked up a storm. It's not severe yet, but it's down there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of transition here for a second. And what we're going to do is, while I'm sitting here and talking to you, is I'm going to try to pull up one of my other maps here real quick. And we're going to go to the HRRR, which is it's a type of simulated radar that basically is going to allow us to take a peek at what's going on, and I'll be able to play that that outlook of what's going to happen. I use Pivotal Weather. I love their forecast stuff, their models, and so I'm going to get this pulled up here in a second. We're going to go, like I said, with the HRRR. I like that one for what we're wanting to do tonight, because it'll give us it's taking in all of the information, and it is that going to do this or not? Yep, it's going to do that for me. Cool. So I'm going to get this map pulled up to where I can see what's going on a little bit better, and then we're going to talk about it once I get it pulled up. All right, let me take a peek and see how that looks on my processor here. Yeah, I like what it looks like. And so right now, the worst of that storm that we were talking about earlier is offshore. Again, there's part of Chicago right now that's getting hit pretty hard. Joliet, down around, it's just a regular thunderstorm, severe thunderstorm with hail. They had some pretty significant hail potential up there tonight. So, all right, so what I'm going to do is let's take a peek at, this is the HRRR map, and I'll give you the times, because I don't think that I've got this adjusted quite right to get everything in it you want. So let me do that real quick while I don't get too crazy. Got a little bit of time here. Not like we got anything crazy going on right now. So we've got some time before our next event takes place. Hope you guys are having a good evening tonight. Trying to play with this just to make it a little bit easier to see and to read and for everybody involved. I'm using a program called OBS Studio, and I actually really like it. It's turned out to be a pretty good tool for me. A little bit of a learning curve to it, but it's not terrible. So I've been pretty pleased with how it goes. Let me see how that will work. Let me get back over here. So I'm trying to get, right now I'm trying to get into getting this map to fit where I want it to. Almost got it where I want it. Almost there. All right, let's go with this. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be close. All right, so what we got going on, this is the HRRR. And so this HRRR map, what it's going to show is it's going to show what the radar could look like tonight as we go through the overnight. And so I'm going to just go ahead and kind of loop through this. And this was earlier today that this was taking place. So this started at 21Z, which for central Indiana, 21Z is 7 hours earlier than that number. So that was about 2 o'clock this afternoon. So let's get up to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 o'clock right now. So if we look at 9 o'clock right now, we've got some of those showers, and that low pressure system is right there above the Chicago area. We should be starting to see some storms form around the southern Indiana, around the Ohio River. And as we go just a little bit farther, so that was 9, it's 10, 11, there's midnight, and 1, 2 o'clock in the morning. So about 1 o'clock in the morning, the worst of our weather ought to be through here. There is it looks like there could be some cells. Now, again, these are not going to be exactly. This is just what the forecast model thinks is going to happen. And so as we go through that, central Indiana, southern Indiana are going to be in the bullseye here. Somewhere between, like I said, that's going to be that was at 6, so let's go a little farther here. So that's 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock right now, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock. We should be, by 1 or 2 in the morning, we should be completely done. So that is that is what that looks like. Sorry, I had to let the dogs in. So that's kind of what that looks like there. And we're going to take a peek and see if there is a discussion right now for a Supercells and Boeing segment that's coming up. So let's see if we've got that working right now. Let's move that a little bit this way. So right now the National Weather Service has got a what they call a discussion going on, and they're talking about issuing another tornado watch for southern Indiana. It looks like along the Ohio River Valley into northern Kentucky. But we'll talk about that here as they issue that. I have to take a few minute break here. I've been talking for a couple hours, so didn't realize talking so much was going to cause as much tiredness in the throat. All right, so what I want to do real quick for us is I'm going to look at the GFS. And the GFS model is one of the best models we've got for a nationwide look at something. And so let's take a look at what's going to happen later on. We've got another storm system that's going to be coming through here in the near future. And I'm concerned about, I think March 3rd is when I think things are going to get interesting again. So let me lock this real quick, the window here. And I'm going to take a peek at the GFS, and we're going to see what happens in the future here. So this model, what I like about it is it's one of the best models that we've got for long range. And so as we go, this is going to be starting right now. This is going to be about 4 o'clock today. So it's a little bit past where we are at this point in time. But as we go into tomorrow, that front is going to move along the east coast and head on out to the Atlantic Ocean. But if you take a peek down around Texas, we've got another wave that has come through off of the California and west coast. They just keep having wave after wave after wave of storms that are coming through. And as we keep an eye on this and we're looking, we're getting into the 29th so far on that day, and taking a peek here real quick so I can just kind of keep things going. Oops, I want to go back. There we go. So as we're looking at the 29th, right now rain, basically everything's off the coast. We do have another storm system that's come in off of the Oregon, Washington, Canada border. And as we track that through, we're going to have some rain and stuff go across the panhandle of Texas and Oklahoma on the 29th. We're going to have some more storms that are going to be coming through on the 1st of March. Right now, it's going to be hard to tell how severe those are going to be, but it looks to me like there's the potential for some pretty strong storms down there around Louisiana, Alabama, Mississippi. We're going to have some rain in the central part of the states too, Illinois, Indiana, but there's also a chance of maybe a little bit of snow flurries with that as it's on the back side of that. So let's continue ahead just a little bit. And the second, we're still on the first. So we've got that wave that is just another wave that has just come into California. And there's going to be some snow in the higher elevations out there on like March 2nd. And again, they have had so much rain and they've had so many storms this winter that have come in and just battered California, which they've been in a drought for so long and have had so many reservoirs dropping, and the water situation out there has been horrible. Well, this winter has really helped them, and part of last fall has really helped them replenish a lot of that lost reservoir and water supply that they had. So this is going to be a pretty strong storm that comes in on the 2nd of March to California, Washington, Oregon area. And it's going to hit those higher elevations. Again, you got to keep an eye out for mudslides and things along that lines. But as we progress on just a couple of days, we could see that snow is spreading across like Idaho, Montana, into Wyoming. And that low pressure is really starting to build some strength. And as we get into the 4th, we're going to see another line of storms kind of take place in the upper Midwest, across Illinois, Indiana. And then as we get into the 5th, there's going to be a pretty significant line of storms possibly coming in. But later on, the morning and the afternoon of the 5th, I think that we're going to see a good chance of some severe weather across Mississippi, Alabama, Tennessee, maybe Kentucky, as we go along through there. And that's going to be one of the storms that we've got going on the 5th and the 6th. Another low pressure system popped in off of the California coast. And I think we're going to have a bigger chance of a severe weather outbreak somewhere around the 8th or the 9th of March. And I think the March 9th time frame is going to be really significant. And there's going to be a good chance for that to be a pretty serious storm system that comes through. But we're going to keep an eye on that, and I'll keep you posted if anything changes with that. Right now, I don't see anything else that is going on as far as weather-wise that I'm overly concerned about until later on, until that next set of system comes through. They're getting ready to drop that tornado watch that's up in northern Illinois anyway. And I got a puppy that's wanting to play. Riggs, come here, buddy. Hey. So this is Riggs. Riggs is our schnauzer. He's my weather pup. And so the problem with Riggs is he's terrified of thunder. He hates loud noises. So when we get severe weather, he likes to go climb under blankets and snuggle up next to mama and hide, don't you? You good boy, buddy? Huh? So this is Riggs. Riggs is the weather pup. He just, if it thunders, I know it's thundering because he takes off and hides. But anyway, let me check that radar real quick on my phone. And so we'll take a peek at that and then see how that's going to go. If anything else is popping up and I need to talk about it. If not, I'm going to probably call it a night because I do have to get up and go to my other job in the morning. So from what I can tell right now, it looks like that the worst of everything is over for this time. It is going to across Indiana. It's going to happen some more tonight. We're going to get some more storms here in the next couple hours. If you're going to bed, just remember, get your weather radio, set your phones to where you can hear what's going to happen, so you get alerts in the middle of the night. It'll wake you up. Again, tornado locations. If you have a tornado warning in your area, go to the center of your home, first floor, basement preferably, no windows. Make sure that you can safely get there. Don't go outside and try to take pictures of it because at night you're not going to see one anyway. And we're going to get some things set up here in the near future to where you can text me things or send me photos and stuff on Twitter once I get that handle, or X as it's called now. But be safe tonight. Don't stop paying attention to the weather. And I'm going to be back on here hopefully in a couple of days to update you on some things. And let's look at see how the middle of March or the first couple weeks of March are going to be. It looks like it's going to come in as a lion. And so we could have a rough few first weeks of March. All right, Weather Pops, Eric, signing off for the night, and I will talk to you guys soon. Have a good evening. Be safe.